What do you get when you combine limited resources, ambitious engineers, and a government that doesn't care about profit margins? Some of the weirdest cars ever made, that's what. From vehicles that could swim to ones that looked like they could fly, these 14 weird Soviet cars pushed the boundaries of what we thought was possible. Welcome to Motor Kingdom. In today's video, we're looking at 14 of the weirdest car designs that emerged out of the Soviet Union. First, hit the subscribe button and click the bell icon to stay up to date on all our latest videos. Now buckle up, comrades, because we're about to see some of the most bizarre automotive creations to ever emerge from behind the Iron Curtain. Ever seen a car that looks like it's wearing a onesie? Well, buckle up because the Velorex is about to redefine your idea of automotive design. This Czechoslovakian oddity isn't just a car, it's a rolling fashion statement that'll make you question everything you know about vehicles. Born from the ingenious minds of the Stransky brothers, František and Mojmír, the Velorex started life in a humble bicycle repair shop back in 1936. These guys were inspired by Morgan's three-wheelers and thought, hey, why not make something like that for disabled veterans? And boy, did they deliver. The Velarex's design is where things get really weird. Picture this, a steel chassis wrapped in a leather-like material. That's right, this car is basically wearing clothes. But here's the kicker, those panels are held on by press studs. Got a tear? No problem. Just pop it off and slap on a new one. It's like changing your car's outfit. Now, you might be thinking, sure, it looks weird, but what's under the hood? Well, the Velorex packed various two-stroke motorcycle engines, with later models sporting a 350cc Jaguar engine. It wasn't exactly a powerhouse with its 9 horsepower, but hey, it got the job done. The best part? This fabric-covered wonder was a game-changer for mobility. It cost about a quarter of the price of a typical car, making it accessible for low-income folks and disabled citizens. By the time production wrapped up in 1971, around 15,300 Velorexes had hit the streets, with half of them going to disabled individuals in Czechoslovakia. You might think the Soviets were all about boxy, utilitarian vehicles, but we're about to encounter a car that'll make you question everything you thought you knew about Soviet automotive design. Enter the ZIS 101A Sport, a sleek, aerodynamic beast that seemed to teleport straight from a European racetrack to the streets of Moscow. Built in 1939, this one-off wonder was constructed on the chassis of a 7-seater limousine, but you never guess it from the svelte 2-seat configuration. The brainchild of designer Valentin Nikolaevich Rostvok, the ZIS 101A Sport was powered by a souped-up 5.8-liter straight-8 engine that could push this beauty to a top speed of 130 km per hour. Impressive for its time. Interestingly, this sports car wasn't just built for speed. It was designed to honor the 20th anniversary of the Komsomol, the youth division of the Communist Party. The ZIS 101A Sport's sleek, aerodynamic body drew inspiration from Western sports cars, making it look so out of place in Soviet streets, it was like finding a Fabergé egg in a factory cafeteria. Ever wondered what would happen if you drove your car straight into a river? Well, the Soviets had just the thing for that. Meet the LuAZ 3907 Jaguar, a vehicle that could cruise on land and water with equal ease. Think of it as the Swiss Army knife of vehicles, ready for any terrain you could throw at it. The Jaguar wasn't your average car-boat hybrid. Based on the trusty UAZ 469, it came with some seriously cool upgrades. It had a watertight hull with 2 tightly closing doors because nobody likes a soggy seat, right? The Jaguar proved its worth by successfully crossing the Volga River from Ulyanovsk to Astrakhan and back. That's no small feat for a vehicle that looks more at home on a dirt road than in a marina. 2 water propellers tucked neatly under the body, right in front of the rear axle, allow the Jaguar to zip through water like a champ. The front wheels even doubled as steering wheels when in water, letting you navigate rivers and lakes with surprising agility. Now things are gonna get really crazy. Here are some vehicles that really defy classification. Ever heard of a car that looks like a plane but doesn't fly? In 1966, Soviet engineer V. Kuranov unveiled a creation that had everyone scratching their heads, the Aero car. This wasn't your average set of wheels. Kurankov's design threw conventional car blueprints out the window. Instead of a regular engine under the hood, this beast sported a massive propeller at the back. But not for flying. This bad boy was all about conquering land, snow, and even water. Kurankov claimed this contraption could hit speeds of 75 miles per hour on land. That's faster than some regular cars of the time. It may be wise to remain skeptical, however. Not many details remain of Kurankov's crazy experiment. There's not even any video, only this one picture of the innovative craft. As for putting a propeller in a car, Kurankov had a method to his madness. This setup let him ditch the complicated gearbox, simplifying the whole drivetrain. It also gave the Aero car some serious versatility. With deployable skis on the sides, it could glide over snow like it was nothing. And when it hit water, it just kept going. Think you've seen all the weird Soviet vehicles? The ZIL 4904 takes it to a whole new level. This beast doesn't use wheels or conventional propulsion. Instead, it swims through snow, mud, and water like a mechanical amphibian. The Soviets gave it 2 massive aluminum pontoons wrapped in a screw-like thread. Picture giant corkscrews boldly carving through nature. That's how this thing moves. This wild propulsion system lets the ZIL 4904 literally screw its way through any terrain. Here's where it gets really impressive. This screw-propelled monster could plow through deep snow faster than you can run, and even outpace a human swimmer in open water. Talk about versatility. The ZIL 4904 wasn't just a random experiment. It was designed to tackle the harshest conditions the Soviet landscape could throw at it. During testing, this mechanical marvel showed off its skills by effortlessly navigating swampy areas and deep snow. It's like the Soviets looked at their vast, unforgiving terrain and said, "Challenge accepted." Ever wondered how the Soviets delivered mail in the frozen north? They didn't just use a regular truck with snow tires. Instead, they created one of the craziest vehicles you've ever seen, the Sever 2 aerosled. Imagine a car body, airplane engine, and skis combined into one wild machine. For the Soviets, this was the perfect solution to their extreme winter delivery problems. The Sever 2 packed a Yak-12 aircraft engine, giving it some serious oomph to blast through snow and ice. It glided on Teflon-coated skis instead of wheels, hitting impressive speeds on frozen terrain. Here's the kicker. Only about 100 of these wild rides were ever built. They were mainly used in remote areas where traditional vehicles couldn't handle the harsh conditions. Today, there is just one left, sitting in Moscow's Central Air Force Museum. It's like the last survivor of a crazy experiment in Soviet automotive history, reminding us of the lengths they went to for efficient mail delivery in the toughest environments. Remember that quirky Soviet snow-conquering beast we talked about? Well, the Soviets also tried their hand at making a people's car. Enter the LuAZ Zaporozhets 968, a squashed sports car with character that hit the streets in 1971 and kept rolling until 1994. This little oddball was the Soviet Union's answer to affordable transportation, and boy did it deliver. At just 2,200 rubles, it was dirt cheap, becoming the go-to wheels for the working class. The Zaporozhets 968 had some seriously unique features. It sported distinctive air intakes on the rear fenders, which weren't just for show. They actually cooled the engine tucked away in the back. Speaking of the engine, it was a 1.2-liter air-cooled V4 that pumped out 41 horsepower. Not exactly a powerhouse, but it could get you up to 85 kilometers per hour if you pushed it. The Soviets loved this car so much, they churned out a whopping 1.5 million of them. Its squash look even earned it the affectionate nickname Hunchback Zaporozhets. Talk about a car with personality. While the Soviets were busy squashing sports cars, their neighbors in Czechoslovakia were cooking up something straight out of a sci-fi movie. Enter the Tatra 603, a luxury car that made American tail fins look prehistoric. This rolling sculpture seemed ready for takeoff with its streamlined body and distinctive three-headlight arrangement, looking like alien eyes peering from the future. But the 603's UFO appearance wasn't just for show. Born in a wind tunnel, its aerodynamic shape was meticulously crafted for optimal performance. The rear-mounted air-cooled V8 engine not only influenced the car's shape, but also allowed for a more spacious cabin. Imagine a luxury apartment squeezed into a flying saucer. Here's the kicker. This Czech beauty wasn't for everyone. Produced between 1956 and 1975, only about 20,000 were handcrafted. The Tatra 603 was primarily reserved for high-ranking Communist Party officials and factory bigwigs, embodying the prestige and power of the Soviet-era elite. This exclusive ride was the ultimate status symbol for the communist upper crust. The Soviet Union's SMZ microcar was essentially a motorized wheelchair with a roof, designed to provide mobility for disabled Soviet citizens. This tiny vehicle featured hand controls instead of pedals and was powered by a 356cc engine that produced just 10 horsepower. With a top speed of about 34 miles per hour, it wasn't setting any records, but it offered unprecedented independence. You couldn't just buy one of these unique cars. They were distributed through the Soviet social welfare system, free or heavily discounted for disabled individuals. After 5 years, you'd return your SMZ and get a new model, a strange Soviet take on leasing. Despite its limitations, the SMZ microcar was revolutionary. For many disabled Soviets, it was their first taste of autonomous travel. As one user reportedly said, "It may be small and slow, but it's my ticket to freedom." This quirky vehicle, with its modest specs and unusual distribution system, truly changed lives by putting disabled citizens in the driver's seat, literally. The LuAZ 969 might look like a quirky little car, but don't let its appearance fool you. This Soviet-era vehicle was a true off-road powerhouse that could tackle terrain that would leave bigger cars stuck on the mud. Produced from 1966 to 1992, this pint-sized champion was built to conquer the toughest landscapes. Think of it as a mechanical mountain goat. The LuAZ 969 boasted an impressive ground clearance of over 28 centimeters or 11 inches, paired with a short wheelbase for maximum agility. Deep snow, muddy fields, no problem for this little beast. But there's more. It featured a four-wheel drive system with a mechanical differential lock and a lower gear ratio. Translation: could climb steep hills and navigate challenging terrain with ease. Under the hood, you'd find an air-cooled V4 engine pumping out 40 horsepower. That might not sound like much, but it was enough to push this lightweight champ to a top speed of about 85 kilometers per hour or 53 miles per hour. Not bad for such a compact off-roader. From rugged to ruthless, the Soviets knew how to create impressive vehicles. Enter the UAZ 469, a boxy beast that dominated the Eastern Bloc's military landscape. This marvel hit the scene in 1971, evolving from its predecessor, the GAZ-69, but its simple looks hit a powerhouse built for conquest. Under the hood, the LuAZ 469 packed a 2.5-liter engine with 71 horsepower. Paired with permanent all-wheel drive, this vehicle tackled terrain that would leave other trucks stranded. Deep mud, rocky mountains, nothing stood in its way. The Soviet-Afghan War put the LuAZ 469 to the ultimate test. In treacherous mountain passes and unforgiving deserts, it transported troops and supplies where others couldn't. These harsh conditions demanded a vehicle that could withstand extreme punishment and keep moving. Veterans who served in these conflicts swear by the LuAZ 469's toughness. One soldier recalled, "Our LuAZ just kept on going, like a mountain goat on wheels." It's no wonder this vehicle became a legend in its own time, conquering landscapes that made other trucks quiver. While the LuAZ 469 was conquering battlefields, another Soviet vehicle was busy dominating racetracks. Enter the ZIL 112 Sports, a car that showcased the pinnacle of Soviet engineering ambition. This slick speedster packed a punch with its 260 horsepower engine, shattering expectations of what Soviet cars could achieve. The ZIL 112 Sports was a marvel of automotive design. Its lightweight fiberglass body, weighing just 2,930 pounds, gave it a serious edge in speed and handling. Under the hood, a powerful V8 engine derived from the ZIS 110 limousine could propel the car to speeds of up to 106 miles per hour. But this car wasn't just about raw power. It featured advanced engineering for its time, like disc brakes on all four wheels. Designer Vasily Rodionov aimed to create a machine that could compete with Western sports cars, and he delivered. From 1961 to 1969, the ZIL 112 Sports tore up Soviet racing events, setting 5 all-Union records and clinching 2 Soviet Union championships. A true Soviet success story on wheels. While the Soviets were racing, Romania was cooking up a car that would change their nation forever. In 1969, they started producing the Dacia 1300, based on the Renault 12. But this wasn't a cheap knockoff. The Romanian government had struck a deal with Renault to license the design. Talk about a Cold War surprise. The Dacia 1300 became a national icon, thriving for over 30 years. Romanians adapted it for their own needs, with 98% of components made in Romania by the mid-1980s. It was simple, tough, and affordable, selling for about 3,200 euros in today's money. Here's the kicker. 2 million Dacia 1300s sold. Dominated Romanian roads as the go-to family car and taxi. Spread to Eastern Europe, Africa, the Middle East, and Latin America. Not bad for a car from behind the Iron Curtain, right? The Dacia 1300 wasn't just a car. It was a symbol of Romanian ingenuity and independence. This little sedan didn't just survive. It became the pride of a nation, outliving even its Western inspiration. Speaking of Eastern European automotive surprises, let's shift gears to a car that looks like it teleported straight from a Western auto show. The Melkus RS1000 wasn't just a car. It was a middle finger to automotive monotony in the Eastern Bloc. This sleek sports car, born in East Germany, had curves that could make a Trabant blush. Heinz Melkus, a racing champion with a passion for speed, decided to bring Western-style sports car flair to his corner of the communist world. He took the humble Wartburg, gave it a makeover that would make even James Bond do a double take, and voila, the RS1000 was born. Melkus wrapped the car in a lightweight fiberglass body and added gull-wing doors that screamed, "Look at me." Under the hood, you'd find a mid-mounted Wartburg engine. It might not have been a Ferrari, but with a top speed of 175 kilometers per hour, it could definitely hold its own on the Autobahn. Between 1969 and 1979, only 101 of these beauties ever rolled off the production line, making it one of the most exclusive cars in the Eastern Bloc. You need a racing license just to buy one. So we've taken a wild ride through the Soviet automotive landscape, and let me tell you, it's been quite the journey. From screw-propelled tanks to flying cars, these vehicles are a testament to the sheer creativity of Soviet engineers. But here's the thing, these vehicles weren't just weird for the sake of being weird. Each design, no matter how bizarre, was a solution to a specific problem. Think about it. The Soviet Union faced some unique challenges: harsh winters, vast territories, and limited resources. Their engineers had to get creative, and boy did they ever. As automotive historian David Hayward put it, the Soviet Union produced some of the most bizarre and creative vehicles in automotive history, reflecting a unique blend of necessity and absurdity. You might be wondering why these cars still fascinate us today. Well, they're not just relics of the past. They're a testament to human ingenuity. These vehicles show us what's possible when engineers think outside the box, even under tight constraints. So next time you see a normal car on the road, just remember, somewhere out there, there's probably a Soviet-era vehicle that could give it a run for its money in the weirdness department. That's all for today. If you like this video, be sure to like and subscribe to stay up to date with all our latest content. We'll see you in the next one.